Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is something that I get asked about all the time and I just want to put a little disclaimer at the beginning of the video. I am obviously not qualified, I'm not trained, I'm not a sleep expert. I am a mum of twins and I've had them a year. So that is all the experience I have got. The things that I've done, I've researched heavily. I have consulted people that are experts and it is just trial and error. Every single baby is different. I have two babies that I carried at the same time with the same DNA. They were created in the same dish. They are the same. They've had everything the same. Yet when they came out, they were completely different babies. Luckily, we've managed to get them in the same routine because that was something I was very passionate about. But yeah, all babies are different and everybody's got different styles of parenting. And one of the things that I'm just like really not cool with is other mums judging other mums. And I think, you know, I'm just coming on here today just to say my truth and just to share my experience. And if you do it different or you don't agree with it, that's absolutely fine. I'm just sharing and answering people's questions for what worked for us. So the two things I get asked about a lot is how did we get rid of the baby's dummies and how did we get them sleeping through the night? So from day one, I always said, even when I found out I was pregnant, is that I really wanted to get the twins in the same routine. That was really important to me because if they kept waking up at different times all the time and they fed at different times, it would have meant I wouldn't have got a second to myself. So there's two other videos which are more about the routine that we do, and the first one was when they were around sort of 4 months. We got them into an easy routine. So an easy routine is eat, activity, sleep, and then you. So basically they were having their feeds, then they were having a play, then they were having a nap, and then you get a bit of you time and then the whole thing starts again. Now, in terms of sleeping through the night, initially we did have dummies for the babies and I had really mixed feelings about dummies. I was like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with them, and you know, if it pacifies them then they're great, and there are certain research, you know, certain research people out there that believe that it reduces the risk of SIDS and things like that. And then there's the other school of thought that are like really anti-dummies. I was kind of like somewhere in the middle. So initially we did use them a bit, but then this is where the issue started with trying to get them to sleep through the night. So when they eventually went into their own rooms at 6 months, into their nursery, where I had two separate cots, so they were used to sleep in the same crib. They were in a next to me crib, which was next to me, and they used to share that. And then we moved them into the nursery, split the cots, and then put them in separate cots. What was happening was, whenever they would lose their dummy, it was more Lawson than Grayson, they would then cry because they weren't old enough to find it in the dark, put it back in. They would just cry, and I was like having to get up, put the dummy back in, get up, put the dummy back in, and I was like, right, this has got to stop. So I thought, right, I've got to do something, and I've got to get rid of these dummies. I wasn't feeling them anymore. I felt that they were becoming a little bit of an issue for my boys personally. So I thought, right, there's two ways of doing this. I can kind of phase it out, or I could just cut them out. And that's what I did. Just got rid of them. Got rid of them and stopped using them. So it sounds a little bit like, you know, cold turkey, but sometimes that's the best way. I think it can be a bit confusing to let them have them sometimes and then not let them have them other times. And you know, if you're gonna take them away eventually, it's kind of better that they don't really know what's going on and they're not gonna remember it. I think when you try and take them away when they're like 3 or, you know, 2 or whatever, it can be a bit more of a challenge then, can't it? So I thought, right, I'm just gonna get rid of them. So that's what I did. So it's a really simple answer. I just took them away. Then I did other research on the age that is acceptable to have like a comforter toy. So the boys have got, they were a gift. I didn't go out and buy them. They were actually a gift, and they're the little Jelly Tots rabbits. I'll try and show you them in this video. Basically, they've got like long ears and they're just really cute. You can get them in the White Company. You can get them in John Lewis. If I can find them, I'll link them down below. So I thought, well, you know, it's not going to hurt them having a little toy once they're a certain age. Obviously there's a risk when they're really, really young that you shouldn't have anything in the cot whatsoever. But 6 months and over, it did say, you know, when I was doing my reading, that it was okay to have one. So I put a little teddy in each cot. Grayson's not really bothered by it. Lawson loves his. So that definitely made a difference with them sleeping. So once they kind of got out of the night feed, so if you go back to my final routine, I think I probably will do an updated one. We used to do a dream feed at about 12 o'clock. No, we didn't, not 12 o'clock. It was about, before we used to go to bed, so about half 10, 11, we used to get them up and do a dream feed to try and encourage them to go through the night. They stopped it themselves. They were like, we're not bothered anymore, thanks, can you not wake us up, can you just leave us? So we dropped that, and then all we would do was keep to a really good routine through the day. So I then switched and I found a lady called the Blissful Baby Expert, and I followed her routines. They were a little bit different to what I was doing. And it's just really crucial for me that they were getting enough sleep through the day so they weren't overtired then at night, and also making sure they get enough food. So obviously from 6 months they were weaning, but they were also having milk as well. So it was trying to balance all that. She's actually got on her Instagram page highlights, and they're all different ages. So if you want to go and check her out, and again, you know, every baby's different, you might not like them, but for me they were fantastic. So we always made sure as well that we have like a wind down at night. So after they were having their food, we were doing, or their milk, depending on what age they were at the time, we were doing bath, story, massage, and then bed. So it wasn't like every single night they slept through, but pretty quickly they were sleeping through from about 6:45 all the way through to like 6:30, 7. And then the one thing we did kind of start doing when they were a bit older was if they did wake up really early, so say like 4:30, 5, we started off with the pick up put down method. But it wasn't really working. So we tried that. So we would, if they cried, we'd go in, pick them up, comfort them, and then put them back down again. But they're a bit like, hang on a minute, I'd rather be hugging you, thank you. Don't be putting me back in here on my own again. We were all right on you, mummy, thank you. So that was a little bit difficult. And obviously, again, with twins, there's the logistics. If Chris had to get up early for work, you know, we were both getting up, both comforting them, putting them back in. And in the end, you just think, oh, this isn't working. For us, it wasn't working, and for the babies, it wasn't working. And I didn't want to still have to stroke them to sleep every night. I didn't want to be a bouncer to get them to sleep. I didn't, you know, obviously I couldn't breastfeed, so I didn't want to always feed them to sleep. I just thought I really want to help them to be good sleepers. So in the end, I did my research, and I thought I'm going to do a little bit of sleep training. I don't really like the phrase sleep training, but that's what it's called, and there's all different methods, and one of them is where, you know, if the baby wakes up, you kind of leave them and you time the gaps. So you've got to be really aware though of their different cries. So if they're proper crying, my God, go in, you know, and you will anyway, because that will be your instinct. When it's just like a bit of a like grizzly cry, they're not really crying, they're just, you know, trying to get comfortable again, then we would start timing it. So initially it was just like 30 seconds, and then we would do like a minute, and then the gaps get bigger. So if you Google sleep training and you Google, you know, letting them self-soothe, then you'll get those time frames up. So we started doing that, and I cannot believe how quickly it worked. It worked so quick, and you know, occasionally sometimes it was difficult because it's not nice to obviously hear them cry, but it wasn't cries, it was just little cries, you know. So I think you get to the point where you're like, we all need sleep, everybody needs sleep, so let's just give it a go. And honestly, it did not take long at all, but again, the babies might not get on with it, you might not get on with it, and that's absolutely fine. But for us, pretty instant, and I have no regrets whatsoever. They sleep so well, they nap well, you know, the same goes for the naps. If you put them down, just, you know, they just self-settle quite quickly now. And yeah, it's just been great. We do use white noise, so from birth really, I had like a woo map on my phone, but now I use the My Hummy, but I actually take the My Hummy out. It's not an ad for My Hummy, I'm not sponsored by My Hummy. You take it out, and we do use that, but I think now I could probably just stop using it, but I like hearing it as well, so it helps me sleep on the monitor. And eventually, you know, if we could take the white noise away, it's no biggie, it's neither here nor there. But I felt that it comforted them when they woke up in the middle of the night. So it's got a setting where you can click it 3 times and it will stay on, or it's got a setting where it'll go off, and then when they move, it'll detect the noise and it'll go back on. So you can pick whatever you want. We use the heartbeat setting, so it's like listening to heartbeats. I don't particularly like the other settings, that's my favourite one. And I definitely think that's helped. Also, grow bags. And making sure they're the right temperature. So we've got the grow egg, which shows you the temperature in the nursery, and then we use grow bags as well. And then it's just being aware of like whether they need long sleeves underneath, short sleeves. With my boys being boys and having eczema, they can run a little bit hot, so a little bit warmer. So they don't like to be too hot. So I didn't use blankets. Sometimes I use blankets for the naps, but grow bags for the evening. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I think helped. At night, what we do now, so now they're on cow's milk, we give them it in a bottle to make sure that they drink it. In the day they have it in a beaker, but at night they prefer the comfort of drinking out of a bottle, and that's fine. You know, the health visitor said that was fine too. So yeah, I think it's important to say, obviously I couldn't breastfeed. I tried so hard, and I won't go into all of that because I've talked about that before. I think breastfed babies, it seems to me from people that I know and other mums that I talk to and other WhatsApp groups and stuff that I'm in, it seems to be taking their babies a lot longer to be able to get used to sleeping through the night, because obviously they're used to being breastfed. You don't know how much they're getting, they're attached to the breast and whatever, so that is a little bit more challenging, I think. So I think it's important just to mention that. And some people like to co-sleep, and that's absolutely fine too. I think it's a lovely thing to do, but again with twins it wouldn't have worked for me, and again there's people that are for it, people that are against it, and it's just doing what works for you. And as I was asked, and I get lots of inbox messages, I think people like see my stories and they're like, oh my god, they're both sleeping at the same time and they're having naps at the same time and they sleep really well, they sleep through the night. I think as a mum you just get so like, oh, you know, and I was impatient. I think you have to be impatient, you know. Around about sort of 5 or 6 months I was thinking, god, am I doing anything wrong? Why aren't they sleeping through the night? But you know, I'm not the best sleeper in the world, and everybody's different, so it's just creating that nice calm environment. And I definitely think the bath, the book, the massage, you know, we always put lovely cream on them and all of that. I definitely think that helps. I also think as well, as they get older, I think the more of the play and the interaction, like I take them to so many baby groups, and if I don't take them to baby groups, I'm obsessed with making sure that they've got out enough and, you know, they've had some fresh air, or that they've managed to crawl around and play loads, and you know, that obviously will tire them out as well. So that's it. I don't think I've got anything else to add to that. If I think of anything else after the video, I'll write it in the little box underneath. So I hope that helps. Like I say, do I know what I'm talking about? Not really. I'm just sharing what worked for me and for our babies. So yeah, if that's helped, then fantastic. I'm really pleased. I think from one mum to another mum, or another dad, or you know, another grandparent that might be watching this, or a friend that's looking after, you know, other people's children, then if that's helped, then that, you know, that's all I'm here for, is to pass on tips and to gain tips back. You know, you guys are brilliant at sharing things with me as well, so thank you. I'm sure we would have talked before about sleep, and you know, you'll have given me your top tips, and I'm just sharing what worked for us. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope to see you on my next video. Don't forget to give this a quick thumbs up and click subscribe if you'd like to become part of our channel. See you soon.